Aloha. Inspired to do a little follow-up video on this Barbo's basket. Now post this full moon experience that's been quite talked up to be such a transformational portal. And so I was curious how it was going to land for me and my 1.5 year burnout recuperation and rebuilding of my psyche and what would land for me. So I'm here to report. Hopefully the wind is okay. Baldwin Beach, Maui. It's my view. And a very sacred beach for me. Also wearing silver sequins, mirror ball life. So life's a mirror. So hopefully anything I'm sharing will be helpful, applicable, something you can think about. Maybe I'm preaching to the choir. But in the spirit of Aloha New Earth and finding new ways of being and reframing our own mindset and working with emotional intelligence, which I identify as my field, helping people work through that. One of the biggest battles that we're working with the paradox of our humanity and our mind, that we are good and bad, night and day, dark and light. This portal we're moving through in our humanity and hopefully rebirthing into choosing peace, choosing camaraderie, choosing cooperation. And in my experience of this healing journey and restoring my power, finding my power, I've really had to notice that I had to put myself in a safe place first. And maybe this only applies to people who've had a lot of early childhood trauma, because like I've shared before, we are thawing some dense original energy that may have not been ready to come out until this time. So don't judge yourself if you're a senior like me, that this is coming out like, haven't I worked on this already? So for me, in working on my mother wound, who hurt me so badly because she was mimicking the patriarchy to survive so well that, in essence, I was still affected, impacted by patriarchal programming. And, or like my friend calls it, male agency. So what this full moon signature brought me back to is just like the feeling unsafe to return to a home where a male is in charge. Even though the monologue is everything's okay, the analog is a very suspicious, creepy, unsafe, because of the whole, what people do, kill them with kindness, but then stab them in the back, and not really being authentic. And, in this case, and in my upbringing, the masculine has just chosen more to ignore. So in this day and age, if it's like, oh, let's just not respond to a text, like, that still might land in you or me and myself is like a really big deal of what it means. What I'm going to make it mean is I'm not being equally treated as other people. These people would treat the waiters kinder than the person they're actually living with, and saying everything's great and everything's okay, but then actually, potentially what I call a peanut gallery, like, talking behind their back. And, we all do that as humans, but I just feel like in this case, I am triggered. I was triggered. The rage and anger of like intentional disrespect from people that are operating on consciousness, that are operating on personal development, are believing in creating a new earth, believing in waking up. I'm sorry, but as the feminine, I know pain very well. And being triggered into waking up and changing, it's an outdated path. And like, I have rage that I no longer assign to that kind of ways of upgrading. You know, that's like, show me who you are by showing me how you treat me. And you know what's so interesting is when I watch some of these videos I've been just like pushed to make, like I don't overthink them, I just like, it's my service. If there's a theme I think needs to be shared, I sound so soft-spoken, so slow-spoken, so neutral, and yet I'm not. Like, I'm just stunned how these videos don't reflect the rage I'm in, the seething I'm in. I mean, when I can access this being completely ignored on a text for no reason, like, you know, sending a thumbs up would at least be like, got the memo, got the message. Like, it doesn't have to be dramatic. It's just common fucking respect and decency. When I think into the energy signature of like, oh, I am choosing to ignore because I just don't feel like it. The rage and seething I feel so deeply. It's almost like it brings back every single word that's been abusive and so ignorant and disrespectful and arrogant that my mother's ever spoken to me. Like, I can tune into that and feel like I will never forgive these people for acting the way they have. Like, it's almost like I can draw on and recreate the audacity, the making someone feel so insignificant to have like that power over, like, you are nothing. And I feel like that level of rage and like, no more, not on my watch, is really the goddess energy, is the true divine feminine. It's not like something I have to fix or get over, or like, oh, it won't affect you if you stop reacting to it. I'm actually just reacting to it because I do not consent to living in a life anymore where people have that option to talk to me that way. You know how I sound very slow and soft, and like, I don't feel like I've ever had permission to say really mean things to people in their face, but people feel they have permission all of the time to say outrageous things to me, and I'm like, I don't even know where that's coming from, because does that mean I really am an earth angel and I have such a pure heart that these demons and negative entities come through them and like have that force field to put onto me so that I can feel disempowered again and worthless and hopeless and feeling like I don't belong here, and creating all those voices that you know, make us feel like we're not allowed to be here, we're not welcome here. And I'm sharing this because I know a lot of females who are practitioners and who know the field of emotions well, and family history clearing and balancing, and it's like walking a tightrope right now to survive these thoughts that are echoing and now coming out to the surface, because it does feel like life and death. It doesn't feel like we're gonna make it. So I just want to point out to you that it's time to not feed those characters anymore that have the audacity to speak to you in an unkind way. So the divine feminine is ready to actually be treated with respect, with kindness, with feeling completely supported, because we need the divine mother to be healthy, healing, safe, and guide the way. And if she is still being oppressed, oppressed and suppressed by these voices. Like, these people don't deserve to have the microphone anymore. These people don't deserve to have your respect. And it's time to just treat them with their own medicine, you know? If they can't speak to you, then, you know, exit stage left. Don't give them energy. It's not like, and the universe will deal with it. It's not even your job to do justice or explain yourself out of the situation, because there's no point in arguing. So why I even felt motivated to speak right now is just the plea that, you know, I've been a pro at disappointment and getting re-traumatized and attracting like one greater perpetrator after another, scary people, scary mommy, scary daddy. And I would like to know what it would be like to heal, because I feel so safe, because I feel so seen, because I feel so celebrated. And like to be held, like me growing up with my German grandmother after I was 6, after a really rocky childhood. Suddenly, like, someone's cooking for me 3 times a day, someone's snuggling with me every night and scratching my back and rubbing my feet. Like, that, I got to have a thriving childhood, like chapter 2, you know, new chapter, like completely different world. And one person being kind to you, like, I got to have such freedom and beauty and creativity in my childhood. I had a wonderful childhood in Germany. As far as freedom, being loved, playing. So that is what I want to call in for everyone who's listening, and for you to create that template in your field of not feeding the person that's only giving you monologues, judging you, thinking that you're supposed to be one way or another. It's still judging you. It's not accepting and loving you, you know? So it's probably a whole other video. I'm already at 12 minutes, but I do want to touch on, you know, in the field of spirit, spirituality, people feeling connected, not connected, disconnected, New Age, whatever philosophies people follow, doing yoga, being vegan, non-vegan, it doesn't really matter. It's just, are you a good person? Are you a kind person? Can you actually have a reciprocal conversation? Do you share and receive equally? Like, we need to move toward this reciprocity, because some of the people, when I've been in transitions that I've encountered, and, you know, this begs a whole other different chapter about dark entities and possession and who's controlling and who's bringing fear in. And I just want to say that I have manifested people that I've met online, you know, like social media, being parts of the groups, and really connecting to people when they're showing. So this is the pattern I'm noticing, and I'm talking about myself here. Because I feel so responsible in helping people with trauma and dealing with their emotions and stuff. I'm always really taken when people actually fall apart publicly and really share their trauma, and I just feel so touched that we need this kind of visibility, that people are like, wow, I have this pain, and you know, I'm ready for a change in my life. And like, that really appeals to me, because people kind of have to break their heart open. But then I meet them and they're getting like really into AI, really into technology, creating these groups. So I don't know if I'm talking about gang stalking, which I don't know anything about. So if you've been having experiences with gang stalking, please make a comment down there. Or if you know who's like motivated to create these groups. But at different parts of my life, you know, I've connected with people who seem like they have the same vision that I do. They're very, and the emotion part really draws me in, but then they go into emotions are bad, emotions fuck things up, and it's, you have to come into neutrality. I don't even know if they use that word. That's what I use when I'm just trying to bring balance into what's good and bad. With EFT is accepting the paradox so that we can be more neutral instead of always like, into the pain story, or, just about inverting what was. But in the case of like this kind of AI, maybe they're infiltrated, maybe they're possessed. But I've witnessed like all these synchronicities they have with online things, so it's like I don't know who's in charge, where this is coming from, but people have had the audacity to say to me that I killed Gaia, like things that were like things that I really value, right? I'm responsible for the Maui fires. I found out years later. I did that. Just so you know. Do you know like the level of fear and shock that brings up in me for people just to say that, Another person who I was like, I'm really in this trauma right now, and then I get a text like, yeah, great mother said if you don't get out of this trauma, she's gonna burn your house down. Like, who says that to people? I don't treat people like that, but I just want to air these things, because if these things are happening to me, I don't know what's happening to other people. Like, and I hear about people who are really putting good stuff out in the world, and then I find out they're being stalked, or their children are on suicide watch, or, people are dealing with some really big fish that they're frying. Including like one of my mentors 10 years ago, Carolyn Elliott. I just heard she took her life this week, and she's very respected in the occult and in working with the subconscious and conscious mind and a lot of magic, whatever that means. I distanced myself because I started getting so afraid of anyone who was talking about magic, of things that I didn't understand. So I just want to put out into the field that we're having to navigate a lot of bullshit up close and personal, and if there isn't love being felt, it's not love. So, neutrality is helpful, and that's good too, but honestly, where I'm still feeling the most human while I'm in a human body is I want to experience gratitude for other people, connection, safety, kindness, and love. Like, let's bring love back. I've been in such a frozen field of fear for the last many years. I couldn't even see through the frozenness. Like, I am done being deer in the headlight, and then these gang stalkers or dark entities or whatever ways they repeatedly were treating me, talking to me, put me in such a state of shock and frozenness. And maybe me sharing this is making some sense for you too, but now that my life force is getting restored and having this beautiful, like, womb energy of Mama Gaia and the island of Maui, and after Pele, first root chakra on Big Island, like, the land, the Aina, is the Hawaiian word for land, has really helped restore me. And, from this more grounded feeling, I can just see this bullshit that I am not going to put up with anymore, and I'm not going to participate, and it's not my job to fix them, but they don't get my energy. So, circling back to where I started, the feminine gets to be angry at all because she's been frozen for so long. And like these repeated behaviors that are stemming from woundedness and people that are into revenge, power over, or competition. I'm stepping out of this game. I'm stepping out of this cycle. I am entering my, super crone senior stage, and I want to be a good grandma to people. I want to be a good grandma and pay it forward that way. And manipulation through telling me what I am, what I'm not, what I deserve or not deserve, even if it's just energetically, like ignorance, fuck you. Ignorance and disrespect, fuck off. Not on my playing field. So enter the love.